Hello the internet, welcome back to the Waifus. I'm Sefhi, and today's topic is going to be SMGs and why they are the worst weapon in the game. Now this has been known since day one, not only by the players but also by the developers, and we'll check posts from both sides, by the developers on patch notes previews that they've released, and also multiple posts by the community talking about this issue. So let's just jump directly into today's topic, SMGs and why they're so bad. Before we start, leave a like, subscribe, help me grow the channel. We're going to be live later, like every single day. So SMGs, this is the full list of units using SMGs right now in the game. No purple units, 2 blue units, and then a bunch of useless characters. When we talk about SMGs, only one thing comes to mind: support characters. As you will see, the only usable characters in here are Litter, Novel, the new Bunny, Alice, Mast, and Volume. That's it, nothing else. You can say that Miranda, Makima, Dee, Ludmila, and Mika have niche usages. You could say that Nero and Quincy could be used in a pinch, and then you have Soline. Once again, Soline is a special topic. I already have a video on her if you want to go watch her. She has her own problems. It's not that she has a bad kit, it's just bad conditions to activate said kit. So the only reason why they keep releasing new SMGs is if they are supporters. Once again, you have Glader, Mast, Wani Alice, even Novel, which is probably one of the best supports when it comes to also a bossing, right? We only get SMGs if they are supporters. The only time I think they released a DPS was Dee. Dee had a banner, and she is a DPS. She sucks. She doesn't do any damage, but she's pretty good for depending on the boss if they have parts, and to burst earlier as well, right? We used to use Dee in order to cheese Modernia back in the day when we could not break the core, the good old days. So unless it's a support unit, it's really hard to justify bringing an SMG into your team. Why is this? There is multiple reasons. First of all, most SMGs have really low damage in comparison to other weapon archetypes. So 8.1, they also have good magazine size but awful range. So bad attack, poor range, they have the worst hit rate of the game by far, and then lastly, they have awful burst generation. So you would have to be using in most SMGs the burst generation cube, unless you need to be using something different, right? If you need to be feeling this burst gauge faster. So those are like the reasons why they kind of suck, and the developers know this, and they have addressed this and done different buffs over time that were still kind of pointless. So let's come here. This was released on January of 2023, so last year, more than a year since they talk about this, and they have known this is an issue. You can't find the patch note. This is January 18 if you want to read them yourself. I'm gonna go only to the part here. I know you can't read it because it's too small, what I'm seeing in OBS, so I'll just read it for you. Again, you can find them yourself because the website, even if I zoom in, it doesn't work. I am 300% in and it doesn't zoom in. So to achieve this goal, we plan to reevaluate characters with low usage and gradually make balance adjustment to improve their usability. The priority would be characters who use machine guns and SMGs weapons, and characters with defense reduction features. We will update everyone's once we have a decision on the direction and degree of adjustments. This was the lie. First of all, they always say the same bullshit when it comes to balancing characters, and they never do it. Which is fine. Again, I'm not here to be bashing the game, just talking about SMGs, but this was a lie. Because the buff that they did, or that they did after a while, was not what they are saying here, right? That we're going to reevaluate the characters. No, what they did is increase 50% core damage to some of the SMGs. And when I say some, it's only some, mostly the DPSs themselves. But this 50% is not enough because hit rate is the worst when it comes to SMGs. You are not hitting the core. Unless the boss is constantly close to you, you are not hitting that core. So that was a bad move to begin with. The second move they did is, for some reason, they gave Miranda a 3% hit rate at level 10 on a skill 1, increase for all allies with SMGs to Miranda, only for her. And this was like, okay, it's a 3%, this is nothing, this is not fixing the issue itself. I don't know why is even a change on her kit, but whatever. And then lastly, they also did change Soline. They gave her a good buff. The problem is that she still relies on her weapon to deal damage. Take for example Sameramis. Shotguns are not the best DPSs or weapons, but Sameramis, thanks to her skill where she is constantly throwing missiles, deals insane amount of damage. Soline relies on her weapon and being always 100 HP. So SMG, already kind of bad, being always 100% HP, kind of difficult depending on the situation, right? So the buff they did for her was not enough. So those are like the three things they did to try to fix SMGs, which clearly didn't work per se, right? Which is kind of funny. Now that was the developer notes by the developers themselves, but the community has been talking about this since a year ago or more. This is from a year ago. This was posted on August 2023, and then they talk about the problem with guns in NIKKE and his proposal. This is a really good post, by the way, pretty good in the sense of the community trying to provide solutions or how they would fix things, right? I'm not saying this is the solution. I'm saying it's pretty interesting, and at least the community is interested enough in the problems to offer solutions. So when you talk about SMGs, and I'll leave the post in the description so you guys can read everything, but we will focus on SMGs. He has a couple really good points. So for example, he talks about that in traditional FPSs, SMGs are usually cheap weapons that you use early on because they give you more money when you kill enemies, aka Valorant, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, even if we talk about Warframe or most games like that, right? You always use SMGs early on if you want more money. In NIKKE, there is no price, there is no economy per se. So now you have to balance weapons based on their kits, which is already bad, and their low generation, their low burst generation, which is already pretty bad. So his proposal to keep the identity of SMG as a cheap gun or disruptive gun, he's suggesting increasing the burst generation of each bullet from 0.1 to 0.5. I think burst generation should be increased a little bit. I'm not sure what the percentage or what the number would be appropriate. Probably ShiftTab knows better than anyone when it comes to this. But yes, the burst generation from SMGs right now is bad overall. It would be pretty cool if we could use more of them. And there is a lot of cool units that I can't use. I like Quincy, I like Nero, and I like also D and Makima. But it's like I can't really justify bringing them, right? Because of their kit and the weapon type. And then the second thing he proposes is that SMGs will apply a debuff, and when you reach maximum stacks, 20 to say something, you will stun the enemy for 0.5 seconds. Changing this on PvP. I think this is a bad idea because this could mean you could potentially perma-stun bosses depending on what type of content you're doing and how many SMGs you're bringing, because they shoot really, really, really fast. So yes, I don't think that's a good idea, but I do think SMGs need a change. It's clear that since day one, right? Because again, this was released on January 2023, 3 months after the game launch. This has been known. This has been something that they actually understand it's a problem, but they've never got around fixing this. Now, maybe the treasures will fix this. I still have a lot of issues when it comes to the treasure system itself and how slow they're working on that, but that's for another video that probably will come out this week or the next one. That said though, those are the issues with the SMGs. Once again, this is known by the developers, as you saw on the patch notes, and by the community, as you've seen in a lot of posts over the year and a half that the game has been on. Hopefully they do more changes to a lot of characters, not only based on treasures. Let's stop the cap for a second. Treasures should not be the only way of balancing characters. They take 2 months to unlock, at least if you are lucky, right? We got one because solo raid. That's the only reason we got one, because on solo raid we got the selector we could apply. The rest of people most likely were unlucky or are using them on meta characters rather than the ones with treasures. This should not be the only way of balancing characters. They should be reworking kits from time to time, every 6 months, maybe buff 3 or 4 characters that are at the bottom that need some help, aka Clay and Bay that they just released, be it Crow, be it some of the SR characters, be it D, or Milk even, right? Like there is plenty of characters that need some help, not only SMGs to begin with. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. Just wanted to talk a little bit about SMGs and why they are the worst weapon in the game. That said, do let me know how would you guys personally try to fix the issue within weapons and SMGs. We're gonna be live later once again, so come say hello, have a great time. That's gonna be for this one. Thank you to my patrons for making this content possible. As usual, love you all bossos. Good luck with your pool day rates. I'll see you in the next one.
役立たずは楽園から追放するのみ。ブランとノワールのショータイムです。天地万物を切るとはこういうことだ。